the 8th Sunday of the year in Year C. Next Wednesday, in a few days' time, we'll have the great feast of Lent beginning with the celebration of Ash Wednesday, a most evocative ceremony, beautiful way to begin Lent, that 40-day period. But first we've got a nice little introduction to Lent, it seems to me. We've got a beautiful reading. The first reading is from the wisdom literature, and it speaks to us, gives us three images, and it driving home the point that the test of a person is in the way they speak, in their language. So language is very important to God, and there's a very, very good reason for this. It's the most theological reason and the most profoundly spiritual reason as to why words are important to God, and that is because God himself is a word person. So in the book of the Gospel of John, in the prologue, it begins like this: in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So God is a word person. We understand this poorly by analogy. We understand the Trinity, the Blessed Trinity, in this particular way. This might be helpful to you. There's a number of ways of explaining it, but given we've just articulated that we're saying God is a word person, what we can say is that God the Father expresses himself. So it belongs to persons to express themselves, and God expresses himself in such the way, with such perfection, that it's actually a word person who is the Son. And because, as St. John says in his letter, in the first letter of St. John chapter 4, that God is love, therefore the love between the Father and the word person, the Son, is perfect. That is the Holy Spirit. So we have this sense of the Trinity, the Holy Blessed Trinity. So words are important to God because God himself is a word person. And this is a great encouragement for us to speak words of truth, to speak words of love, and therefore to give rise to the virtue of hope and to speak in a hopeful way. So what this does, when we take this seriously, the gift of human language based on the very language of God himself, what this does is when we do this, when we speak words of love, and truth, this gives rise to authentic communities. Because the community then is based on the original foundational community, the primordial community, which is God himself. So as we enter the period of Lent, as we begin Lent on Ash Wednesday in just a few days' time, this may be a very simple audit, inventory of our moral life, but how do I express myself, and do I allow other people to express themselves? So am I a good listener? That's the first point I think we should make. Because if there's no listening, then there's no sense of people being able to express themselves. There's no sense of the rise of authentic communities. And likewise, when I do express myself, is it done in a truthful, loving, and hopeful way? Are my words lifting people up, not putting them down? Very important.